how my parents faked my death for cash, and I came back to ruin their lives. The day I found out I was dead, I wasn't supposed to break today. Not after last night's shift at Mercy Hospital in Chicago, where I'd held a stranger's hand, till it went cold because no one else showed up. I'm 25, running on empty, my tiny apartment a mess, coffee stains on the counter, a rent notice taped to the fridge like a kick in the teeth. I just wanted an hour to breathe, so I dragged myself to the thrift store down the block with a crumpled dollar, hoping for a cheap book or a chipped mug, something to feel alive. Instead, I found my own ghost staring back at me. The place reeked of dust and old memories, racks of faded shirts, shelves of cracked dishes. I wandered to the back, my sneakers scuffing the floor, drawn to a box of papers labeled 50C. I don't know why I stopped. Maybe it was instinct, that nurse in me always poking at forgotten things. I started digging. Some kid's homework, a grocery list, then my fingers hit something stiff, a folded newspaper, edges curling like it had been hiding for years. I pulled it out, half smiling, thinking it'd be some dumb headline to laugh at. Then I unfolded it, and my world stopped. August 14th, 2015. Porter County Gazette, Indiana. 10 years back when I was 15, braces, chipped tooth, big dumb dreams. The headline hit me like a slap. Local teen killed in tragic car crash. Below it, my face, smiling awkward in a grainy photo. Sarah Ann Miller, dead. My heart slammed so hard I thought it'd bust out of my chest. I'm not dead. I'm standing here, shaking, my breath catching like I'm drowning. But there it was. Sarah Ann Miller, 15, perished. Sedan veered off Route 12. Parents David and Linda Miller survived. Survived? I couldn't move, couldn't think. Just stared at my own obituary crumpling in my hands. I dropped to the floor, right there in the aisle, tears burning my eyes before I could stop them. She was our light, Linda said through tears. My mom's words, fake as hell. I saw her face. Those crocodile tears from that summer, when they'd packed me up, driven me to Ohio, and left me at Mrs. Grady's foster home. We'll be back soon, sweetie, Dad had mumbled, not even looking at me. I'd stood there, a garbage bag of clothes in my arms, waving till their car was a dot. I'd cried for them, missed them, thought they were gone forever. But they weren't gone. They'd killed me? A sob tore out of me, loud and ugly, bouncing off the thrift store shelves. The clerk, a greasy guy with a vape, grumbled, "You good?" I wasn't. I couldn't be. My hands shook as I grabbed my phone, tears smearing the screen. I Googled myself, Sarah Miller car crash 2015, and found echoes of the same lie. Then I typed David and Linda Miller, and there they were, Facebook, grinning on a cruise ship, margaritas in hand. Paradise found, they'd posted last month. My stomach flipped. I'd been eating ramen in a leaky apartment, dodging my landlord while they were happy? I scrolled, chest heaving, tears dripping. A house in Texas, a red truck, a dog named Max licking their faces. Living our best life, they wrote. Best life? I laughed, a broken, choking sound that hurt coming out. My best life was foster homes, cold beds, Mrs. Grady's gin breath, foster dads who stared too long. I'd prayed they were okay, pictured them hurt, dead, anything but this. Then I saw it, a 2015 post, My school photo taped to a roadside cross, flowers wilting. Missing our angel. Angel, I'd been their burden, too loud, too much, until they cashed me out. I searched more, frantic. Insurance payout teen death 2015. A hit. Midwest family claims $500,000. $500,000. That's why. They'd faked it. My death. My crash. For money. My hands shook so bad my phone fell, clattering on the floor. I saw that summer clear as day. Them whispering in the kitchen. Insurance. Fresh start. Then driving me away. No goodbye hug. No, we love you. Just a lie and a paycheck. I'd been a kid, scared, lost, begging the universe for them back. They'd been counting cash. I grabbed the paper, stumbled to the counter, threw $1 at the clerk, keep all, and ran outside. The Chicago wind hit my wet face, but I didn't feel it. I felt fire, rage, hurt, a scream clawing up my throat. My phone buzzed. Jess. WTF is this? I'd sent her the newspaper pic. I ignored her, opened X. Ever find out your parents faked your death for money? I just did. Posted. Likes rolled in, 20, 50. Strangers yelling, spill it. I wiped my eyes, a shaky smirk tugging at me. Spill it? Oh, I would. They thought I was dead? I'd haunt them. I'd make them pay. Back home, I taped that paper to my wall. My teenage face staring down. I wasn't dead. I was awake. And I was pissed. My parents' new life. My old pain. I stood there on that Chicago sidewalk. Wind biting my face. My thrift store bag swinging like a pendulum in my grip. That newspaper, the one saying I'd died, was stuffed inside, heavier than it had any right to be. My phone wouldn't shut up, X notifications piling up, strangers begging what's next. But I couldn't look away from my parents' Facebook page, David and Linda Miller, my mom and dad, smirking in a cruise ship selfie, like they hadn't buried me alive on paper 10 years ago. My chest hurt, a deep bruising ache, and I couldn't tell if it was grief or fury tearing me apart. I swiped back to that photo. Mom's fake tan, Dad's arm slung around her, a blue ocean mocking me in the background. Paradise found, they'd written. Paradise? Tears stung my eyes, hot and bitter, spilling down my cheeks before I could stop them. I'd been in hell, shivering in foster homes, eating scraps, wondering why they'd left me, while they were sipping drinks on a boat, toasting to my death. My hands shook, gripping the phone so hard I thought it'd crack. $500,000. That's what I was worth to them. That's what they'd traded me for. I couldn't stand still. My legs dragged me back to my apartment. 3 blocks of blurry streets, wind shoving me like it knew I was breaking. My heart pounded. Hurt. Hate. Hurt. Hate. A rhythm I couldn't shake. I stumbled up the stairs, pushed open my door, and ignored the rent notice glaring from the fridge like a judge. The newspaper hit my couch, and I collapsed next to it, phone in hand, diving into their lies like I was chasing a ghost. I had to see it. How far they'd gone. How good they had it while I'd been drowning. Their Facebook was wide open, a cruel little window into their world. I scrolled, and every post stabbed me deeper. A red pickup truck gleaming in a driveway. New toy for the man of the house. A golden retriever, Max, chasing a ball. Best boy ever. A big house with a porch that wrapped around like a hug. Round Rock, Texas, the tag said. I stopped, breathing. We'd lived in a dump in Indiana when I was a kid. Walls peeling, roof dripping, them always yelling about money. Now they had this? I zoomed in on a photo. Mom on that porch swing, lemonade in hand, smiling like she'd never ditched me at Mrs. Grady's with a garbage bag and a lie. That smile. God, I knew it too well. It was the one she'd flash when she wanted me quiet. Like that time she'd begged me to be good for the foster lady, promising they'd come back. I'd held on to it. Replayed it 1,000 nights in my head, lying in a bunk bed that smelled like mildew, telling myself they loved me. Now it was a knife in my gut. Cold, fake, framed by a life they'd stolen from me. My stomach churned, and I gagged, tasting the bitterness of it all. They hadn't just left me. They'd erased me, built this shiny new world on my bones. I scrolled back to that summer, 2015. I was 15, sprawled on our ratty couch, springs jabbing my back. They'd been in the kitchen, whispering, words like insurance, fresh start, she'll be fine, floating out. I'd thought they were planning something good, maybe a new house. Then they'd driven me to Ohio, dumped me with Mrs. Grady and said, "We'll be back soon, sweetie." Dad wouldn't look at me. Mom's hug was stiff. I'd waved as they drove off, a pit in my gut, waiting for them to turn around. They never did. I'd waited, days bleeding into weeks, years, while they cashed out my death. A sob ripped out of me, loud and messy, bouncing off my apartment's cracked walls. I pressed my hands to my face, tears soaking my palms, flashes hitting me hard. Those foster nights, cold and lonely, Mrs. Grady barking, "They ain't coming, kid." I'd been so small, hugging a teddy bear I'd named Buddy because I had nothing else. I'd prayed they were alive, pictured car wrecks, house fires, anything to make sense of it. But they weren't dead. They were thriving, building a mansion while I ate stale bread, dodging foster dads who leered too long. My phone buzzed. "Jess, call me, what's happening?" I ignored her, kept scrolling. Dad grilling steaks 2 years back. Living the dream. I laughed, a broken, choking sound. My dream was them. Mom asking about my day, Dad ruffling my hair. I got nothing. They got steak and a dog named Max. I stood, pacing my tiny floor, sneakers thudding, my breath ragged. Round Rock, Texas, 18 hours away. I didn't have a car, didn't have cash, but I had this fire in my chest, this need to see their paradise and smash it. I stopped, staring at the newspaper on my couch, my teenage face, braces and all. They thought I was dead, buried in some fake ravine. I wasn't. I was here, alive, every cut of their betrayal bleeding fresh. I grabbed a marker, hands shaking but steady enough, and taped that paper to my wall. "Liars," I wrote across it, big, and black ink smudging as my tears fell. I didn't care. I stepped back, staring at it, my chest heaving. Liars. That's what they were. And I'd been their fool, grieving, missing them, while they laughed over my grave. My phone lit up, X 250 likes now, comments exploding. Tell us more. I'd burn it all down. I wiped my face, a shaky smile tugging at me. Burn it down? Maybe I would. I didn't know how yet, didn't have a clue, but standing there, staring at their lies pinned up like a target, I felt it. A spark, a promise. they'd built their heaven on my hell. I'd make them choke on it. Going undercover at their perfect little club, I stood in my dingy Chicago apartment, staring at that newspaper taped to the wall, my teenage face, the word liars scrawled across it in black marker, my tears smudging the ink. My phone buzzed like crazy. X likes hitting 300 now, strangers typing, "What's the plan?" and make them pay. I didn't have a plan yet. Not really. But the fire in my chest was growing, licking at my ribs, begging for a target. Round Rock, Texas. That's where they were. My parents, sipping lemonade on their stolen porch, laughing over my grave. 18 hours away, and I didn't have a car or cash. But I had rage, and that was enough to start. I paced my creaky floor, sneakers thudding, my mind spinning. How do you crash a paradise you've never seen? I grabbed my phone, scrolled their Facebook again. Every post a fresh cut. That country club photo stuck out. Mom in a sundress, Dad with a golf club, captioned "Another perfect day at the club, Round Rock Country Club," the tag said. I stopped pacing, my breath catching. That's where they lived their lie, rubbing elbows with rich folks, bragging about their blessed life. My stomach twisted, a mix of nausea and something sharper. Hunger, maybe, to see it burn. I had to get there. I had to know. I sank onto my couch, the springs jabbing my back, and opened my laptop. 5 years old, slow as hell. But it'd do. Round Rock was 1,000 miles south. A Greyhound ticket I couldn't afford. Then it hit me. Jess, my coworker, my lifeline. She'd been texting nonstop since I sent her that newspaper pic. "Call me, you lunatic." I dialed her, hands shaky, voice cracking as I spilled it. The crash, the insurance, their Texas mansion. She didn't interrupt, just listened, then said, "I've got $200 saved. Take it. Go get 'em." I cried again, quieter this time, gratitude mixing with the mess inside me. Jess didn't ask questions. She just got it. 2 days later, I was on a bus, a duffel bag at my feet, that newspaper folded in my pocket like a talisman. 30 hours, Chicago to Austin, then a local to Round Rock, staring out smudged windows, my reflection a ghost in the glass. I barely slept, my mind replaying every foster home night, every "they're not coming" from Mrs. Grady, every lie they'd fed me. By the time I stepped off in Round Rock, the Texas sun blazing down, I was a live wire, exhausted, wired, ready to snap. I dyed my hair first, cheap box dye from a drugstore, brown to blonde, my hands trembling in a gas station bathroom. Didn't look like me anymore, not the me they'd ditched. I found a thrift shop, grabbed a polo shirt and khakis, $10 total my last cash, and checked my phone. Their club was 5 miles out, a sprawling green oasis for people who'd never known hunger. I hitched a ride with a chatty trucker who dropped me a block away, my heart pounding as I walked up to the gates. A sign read, "Now hiring waitstaff." I smirked, shaky but sure. Perfect. I lied my way in. Fake name, Jenny Carter, fake smile, fake story about moving to town. The manager, a sweaty guy named Rick, barely looked at my made-up resume. "Start tomorrow," he said, tossing me an apron. I nodded, my pulse racing, a thrill cutting through the fear. Tomorrow, I'd be inside their world. Close enough to smell their cologne, hear their laughs. I crashed that night in a cheap motel, $30 I'd scraped from Jess's loan, lying awake on a lumpy mattress, plotting. Day 1 hit like a fever dream. I walked into that club. Polished wood, chandeliers, old guys in golf hats sipping whiskey. My apron tied tight, a tray in my hands. Then I saw them. Mom and Dad, at a table by the window, her in pearls, him in a blazer, laughing with some tanned couple. My tray wobbled, drinks sloshing, my knees locking. 10 years. 10 damn years since they'd left me. And they looked happy. My throat burned, tears pricking, but I swallowed it down. Not here. Not yet. I edged closer, head down, blonde hair hiding my face. More wine? I mumbled, voice low. Mom waved a hand. Yes, dear, not even looking at me. Dear? I wanted to smash the bottle over her head, scream, "It's me, you liar!" But I poured, hands steady somehow, my heart a drumbeat. Then I heard it. Dad, loud and smug, leaning back. Oh, we got lucky years back. Outsmarted the system, you know? The tanned guy chuckled. Smart move, Dave. My blood froze, then boiled. Lucky? Me. They meant me. I slipped a tiny recorder from my apron, $15 from a pawn shop, clicked it on, tucked it back. Every word they said, I'd catch. I moved slow, refilling glasses, clearing plates, their voices washing over me, boasting about hard work paying off, never mentioning the daughter they'd killed on paper. My chest ached, a deep, bruising hurt. Love I'd once had for them, twisted into hate. I'd been invisible to them then. Now I was a shadow, right under their noses, and they didn't even know. That night back in the motel, I played it back. Dad's smug outsmarted the system, Mom's giggle. My hands shook, tears falling again, but I smiled through them. I had something now, proof, a weapon. My ex buzzed, 500 likes. What's the update? I typed, fingers flying. I'm in. They don't see me coming. Posted. The fire in me roared louder. They thought they'd won. They were wrong. The leak that lit the fuse. I sat on that lumpy motel bed in Round Rock, Texas, my $15 pawn shop recorder trembling in my hands, the glow of my phone screen cutting through the dark. I'd just gotten back from my first shift at their precious country club. Mom and Dad laughing, sipping wine, bragging about outsmarting the system, while I poured their drinks, invisible in my blonde disguise. My chest was a mess, hurt, twisting into hate, tears still wet on my cheeks. But that little device, it was gold. I hit play, and there it was. Dad's voice, smug as ever. We got lucky years back. Outsmarted the system, you know? Mom's giggle, sharp like a slap. I froze, then grinned, a shaky, wild thing. They didn't know I'd caught them. Not yet. I played it again, pacing the tiny room, my sneakers squeaking on the sticky floor. Smart move, Dave, that tanned jerk had said. Smart? They'd faked my death, for $500,000, dumped me in foster care, and called it smart. My hands clenched, nails digging into my palms, the pain grounding me. I saw it all, me at 15, waving as their car peeled out, crying, myself dry while they counted cash. Now they were here, golfing and grinning, and I was a ghost with a recorder. My laugh broke free, half crazy, bouncing off the peeling walls. Oh, this was gonna be good. I plugged the recorder into my ancient laptop. Thank God Jess had made me pack it. my heart racing as the file loaded. Their voices crackled through clear as day. Dad boasting, Mom chiming in, "We earned this life." Earned it? I'd earned scars, foster homes, hunger, nights clutching Buddy, my teddy bear, begging for them to come back. My eyes burned, but I didn't cry this time. I was done crying. I opened a free audio app, some sketchy download, but it worked, and trimmed the clip. 2 minutes of pure confession, raw and damning. My fingers shook, but my mind was sharp. This was my shot. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling, water stains, a flickering bulb, my brain buzzing. How do I hit them? Hard. Public. I thought about the cops, but nah. Too slow, too messy. Then it clicked. X. That post I'd made, "Ever find out your parents faked your death for money?" was at 500 likes, strangers hooked, begging for more. I smirked, a real one this time, my pulse kicking up. The internet loves a scandal. And I had one hell of a story. I grabbed my phone, opened X and typed, "They bragged about faking my death for cash. Here's the proof." I attached the audio, hit post, and held my breath. It took 10 minutes to explode. Notifications flooded. 100 likes, 200, retweets, piling up. "This is insane. Play it loud," I refreshed, watching the numbers climb, my chest tight with something new. Power, maybe, or just sweet, sweet chaos. Comments rolled in. They sound so smug. "Ruin them!" I laughed again, louder, my motel neighbor banging the wall. "Shut up!" I didn't care. I played the clip on loop. Dad's outsmarted the system. Mom's giggle. Each time stoking the fire in me. Strangers were on my side now. A mob I didn't even know, chanting for blood. By morning, it was everywhere. 2,000 likes, 500 retweets, X buzzing like a beehive I'd kicked. I'd barely slept, adrenaline pumping, but I felt alive, electric. My phone rang. Jess, screaming, "It's viral, you lunatic! What's next?" I grinned, voice hoarse. "Just wait." I scrolled X, sipping stale motel coffee, when a DM slid in, an account called Texas Truth 99. "I know Round Rock Country Club. Those jerks deserve it. Need help?" My eyebrows shot up. "A local?" I typed back, "Maybe. Stay tuned." Allies were forming, and I hadn't even asked. Then the big hit landed. A retweet from some insurance watchdog page. Blue check mark, 50K followers. If this is real, it's fraud. Tagging our Liberty Mutual claims. My jaw dropped. Liberty Mutual, the company they'd scammed. I clicked the audio again, hands sweaty. Yep, Dad's voice clear as day. X was a wildfire now, 5,000 likes. Comments like, "Jail time incoming." And get 'em! I pictured Mom and Dad at their fancy breakfast table, oblivious, sipping OJ while the internet closed in. My grin turned wicked. They'd feel this soon. I stepped outside, Texas sun blinding, my apron stuffed in my bag for shift 2. I hitched back to the club, heart pounding, recorder safe in my pocket. I wasn't done collecting. Inside, it was business as usual, old guys golfing, waitresses hustling, until I saw them. Mom and Dad at their usual table laughing, no clue their world was cracking. I slid by, tray steady. "More coffee?" Dad nodded, barely glancing. I clicked the yes. Recorder on. catching Mom mid-sentence. People are so gullible, aren't they? My blood sang. Keep talking, liars. That night, I uploaded the new clip to X. Shorter, sharper. Day 2, they're still laughing. Posted. It hit 1,000 likes in an hour. X exploding again. They're toast. This is better than TV. I sat on that motel bed, scrolling. My motel neighbor banging again. Sorry, dude, this is war. A news site DM'd me. Story? But I held off. Not yet. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. We're investigating. Stay safe. Insurance company? Cops? My heart skipped, but I smiled. The fuse was lit, burning fast. I leaned back, staring at my laptop, their voices looping in my head. They thought they'd outsmarted everyone. They hadn't outsmarted me. Not anymore. Walking away while they fall apart. I sat on that creaky motel bed in Round Rock, Texas, my phone buzzing like a hornet's nest, the glow lighting up my grin in the dark. My last X post, Day 2, they're still laughing, was at 1,000 likes. The audio of Mom's "People are so gullible" line spreading like wildfire. The fuse I'd lit was burning. 5,000 likes on the first clip, insurance people sniffing. Around, strangers cheering me on. My chest thumped, a wild mix of adrenaline and something sweeter. Victory, maybe, creeping in before I'd even finished. They didn't know yet, Mom and Dad, sipping coffee at their fancy club. But I did. Their paradise was crumbling, and I was the one swinging the hammer. I barely slept, scrolling X, sipping cold motel coffee. Bitter, but better than nothing. Comments piled up. They're done for. This is justice. My favorite. You're a legend. A legend? Me, the girl who'd eaten stale bread in foster homes, who'd cried for parents who'd cashed me out. I laughed, a real one. My motel neighbor banging the wall again. Sorry, pal, this is too good. A text from that unknown number. We're investigating, sat unanswered. I didn't know if it was cops or Liberty Mutual, but it didn't matter. The dominoes were falling, and I was ready for the show. Day 3 at the club hit different. I walked in, apron on, blonde hair tucked, under a cap. Still Jenny Carter, still invisible. The air felt charged, like everyone knew something was up but couldn't place it. Then I saw them. Mom and Dad, at their usual table, but off. Dad's jaw was tight, Mom's smile forced, her phone in hand, scrolling fast. My heart skipped. Had they seen it? I edged closer, tray steady, recorder rolling in my apron. More water? I mumbled. Mom snapped, not now. Her voice sharp, eyes darting. I bit back a smirk. Oh, they'd seen it all right. I lingered, clearing plates slow, catching their whispers. Some idiot posted audio, Dad hissed. Sounds like us, but it can't be. Can it? Mom's voice shook. What if they trace it? My blood sang. Trace it? Too late, liars. I slipped away, heart pounding, and checked X in the break room. 10,000 likes now. A news site headline. Texas couple accused of faking daughter's death for insurance money. My breath caught, a laugh bubbling up. It was real. It was happening. By noon, it hit the fan. 2 suits walked in, badges flashing, voices low, heading straight for their table. I watched from the bar, tray forgotten, my hands sweaty. Dad stood, red-faced. This is a mistake. Mom clutched her pearls. We didn't do anything. The suits didn't flinch, just kept talking. Fraud, investigation, Evidence. Club members stared, whispers spreading like wildfire. Did you hear? Insurance scam? I stayed still, a ghost in the chaos, my chest bursting, hurt, hate, and a wild, giddy joy all at once. They didn't cuff them, not yet, but escorted them out, Mom's heels clicking, Dad's blazer flapping. I followed at a distance, slipping outside as they climbed into an unmarked car, faces pale. My phone buzzed. Jess. Turn on the news. I ran back to the motel, flipped the ancient TV on. Local station, breaking story. David and Linda Miller, suspected of a decade-old insurance fraud, questioned after viral audio leaks. My teenage photo flashed on screen, braces and all. I sank onto the bed, tears spilling. Not sad ones, but big, messy, relieved ones. They were caught. Finally caught. X was a circus. 20,000 likes, strangers cheering. You did it. Their toast, a DM from Texas, Truth 99. Saw the news? Proud of you. I smiled, shaky, typing back. Thanks for the push. My phone rang. Jess again screaming, You're famous, you nutcase. I laughed through sobs. I just wanted them to pay. She went quiet. Then, they will. You won. Won? Maybe. It didn't feel like winning yet. Just breathing, for the first time in years. The next day, I quit the club, left my apron. On Rick's desk, no note. I hitched a ride to Austin, caught a bus back to Chicago, my duffel lighter somehow. News kept rolling. Arrest warrants, their house seized, Max the dog with a neighbor. Liberty Mutual sued them for every penny, and X ate it up. Karma's real. She destroyed them. I posted one last time. They thought I'd stay dead. I'm living better than ever. It hit 50,000 likes, but I didn't watch the numbers. I was done staring at screens. Back in Chicago, I walked into a cafe near my apartment. Cozy, warm, nothing like their cold country club. I ordered coffee, real stuff, not motel sludge, and sat by the window, my hands wrapped around the mug. My phone buzzed. News alert. Miller's face court. Fraud charges stick. Mugshots popped up. Mom's hair a mess. Dad's eyes hollow. I stared, waiting for pain, guilt, something. Nothing came. Just quiet. They'd built their life on me, and I'd torn it down. Brick by brick, like I'd promised. I took a sip, the warmth spreading, and smirked. They were falling apart. Jail, broke, alone. I was here, alive, free. The tears dried up, the fire cooled. And for once, I didn't feel like a ghost. I felt like me,